Hi, I'm Holly. I'm part of the stewardship team at Credit Valley Conservation. Today I'm visiting Murphy Meadow Farms in Mono to highlight a best management practice used on the farm, intensive rotational grazing. Intensive rotational grazing involves moving livestock between paddocks, which are areas of pasture divided by fencing. This enables more control over how much grazing pressure occurs in each paddock. It also provides periods of rest between grazing and ensures even distribution of manure. Today we'll meet with the Murphy family to learn about how their intensive rotational grazing system improves the health and productivity of their pastures and their livestock while providing many environmental benefits. Let's meet the farmers.
My name is Ian Murphy and this is my wife Elaine, and we are a fifth generation family run farm here in Mono. So my family came to this area in the early 1880s. My great-great-great-grandfather purchased a farm not far from here and built a house and a barn on it, and we have been farming here ever since.
I'm Fred. I'm Ian's father, and Elaine's my daughter-in-law. Our family has farmed in Mono since 1884, and as a child growing up in this area, but the only employment was working on a farm through the summers. And I worked for the former owner here for many years, and I worked for his father also. Farming is a lifestyle, and it's a very, very good lifestyle. Financially, it can be very challenging, and that's what keeps me farming, is the challenge. Every day is different. You never get 2 days the same. It just goes on, and it's kind of in your blood.
This particular farm property our family had rented for about 25 years, and about 10 years ago we had the opportunity to purchase it, which we did, and my wife and I built a house on it 7 years ago.
Well, we love living here. We love waking up and being surrounded by nature, and just knowing that you're steps away from cows and wildlife and all kinds of birds. It's just wonderful. We wouldn't want to live anywhere else.
We produce grass-fed beef and pasture-raised poultry here on the farm. We raise about 30 cow-calf pairs and approximately 200 chickens a year. Everything we produce here is sold directly off the farm to our local consumers. The soil on this farm, and in Mono in general, it's a very sandy textured loam, which gives it really good drainage, but it's highly susceptible to wind erosion. It's also, because of the soil type and the topography here, all of the rolling hills, it's not overly well suited for crop production, but what it is really good for is growing grass. We use an intensive rotational grazing system here on the farm for our cattle herd, which basically means that we set up a series of paddocks using temporary fence reels, and the cows get moved to fresh pasture on a daily basis. We switched to an intensive rotational grazing system 2 years ago, and several factors influenced the decision. One, we wanted to extend the grazing life of the farm and maximize the carbon sequestration ability of our pastures. And we also want to completely eliminate the need for chemical fertilizers on the farm. We use a system of cross fences and temporary fence reels to build and take down paddocks. The process is quite quick. It's streamlined through the use of our ATV, and the cows get moved to fresh pasture on a daily basis. In our rotational grazing system, the water is probably one of the biggest challenges. In previous years, before we had the system of pipes, we'd have to create alleyways through temporary fences so that the herd could get back to the barn where the water source is. But this year we've installed all of these pipes, and it makes things much easier. The cows don't have to walk all the way back to the barn multiple times a day. We have a series of pipes that we run along each of our hedgerows, and throughout the pipes are these plasm valves, which are quick connect system and we can just hook into the pipe and feed this water trough. And we move this water trough around as we rotate the cows throughout the farm. So these are the quick connect valves that allow us to hook into the water system. And we're able to just tap in wherever we want. This is our mobile poultry coop. We just have a few turkeys in here at the moment, but we also raise chickens in here, depending on the time of year. So the birds get moved to fresh pasture typically twice a day, where they can forage for fresh grass and insects. And moving them around and rotating them on a daily basis also helps cycle nutrients within the soil by they contribute through their manure. In just 2 years of rotational grazing, we're already starting to see the benefits. Because we are able to give the pastures long periods of rest, we can graze later into the fall, and we can also start grazing earlier in the spring because we've left a good amount of growth in place during the winter. With rotational grazing, grass that isn't grazed within the paddock is typically tramped down by the cows. This contributes to the organic matter in the soil and helps promote the litter growth in the pastures. So we're aiming to build better, healthy soil year after year. We are trying to farm in a way that we're not an extraction operation, but rather through our management practices, we're building better, healthier soil year after year.
If you don't protect the land, you have nothing. You have to look after your property. Your property looks after you, you have to look after it. The people got to realize that cheap food comes with a cost, and it does cost the environment. And I think things are improving. I think there's more cover crops coming, and there's more people are getting aware of how their food's produced and where it's coming from, and it's up to society as a whole to change things, not just the farmers.